Okay, I certainly not trying to overwhelm any student, but I think some of the students at the Math 100 level are thinking about moving forward into a STEM related career. And it's always good if you are thinking about moving into a STEM related career is start getting your feet wet in a variety of topics. And one of the topics I want to discuss now, which is optional, you don't have to do this, nor will you be testing this, but is getting familiar with what's known as computer algebra system. So what I do is in my notes, I embed code. All right, this is for students that are interested in moving forward into a STEM related career. If you're not though, this is probably not going to be any use to you at all. And certainly it's not required. You're not going to be testing on it. And you might say, why would I want to bother with it then? Well, it's going to give you an option. And the option is going to allow you to make choices later on in your life, to have these options. So what I want to do is I just want to briefly go through this, and I want to go to this website over here. In my notes, when you see something that's in this color, if you just click on this, it's going to open up a website. Let me do that with you. Okay. So I just opened up the website. No, we're not asking you to read through it. No, we're not asking you to master this material either. Right. Over here, what I'm going to claim the easiest way to start coding is doing it online. So what I want to do is talk about this CoCalc Instant Sage worksheet. Now, your web browser may look different than mine, but that's incidental. Everyone should be able to click on a link. And so it's going to load CoCalc, which allows me to run code online. Let me say, welcome to CoCalc. I'm going to click on this link here. This one says start project. Okay. What I like to do though, is I like to start a new project every time I open it up. So I'm going to do new. It's right over here. Here comes the choices come in. I wouldn't worry about it so much. What we want to do is create a Sage worksheet. Let me click on that. And now I got something that looks like a word processor to me. What I want to do is go over here and look at the code though. I'm going to start typing it in. The first thing I see is reset. Now, what do most people do now? They hit the return button. But I want to point out, hit the return button, nothing happens. So what you need to do is hit the shift key and the return key. So shift, then the return key. Now you notice that you get a little green thing now. Right? What does that mean? Sage is actually taking that command, is doing something with it. I'm going to do x equals var. Someone says, what is this about? Well, reset is basically saying, give me a clean sheet of paper. When I say x equals var, I'm saying x is a variable. Well, that's what we've been dealing with in algebra. Now, again, I'll repeat this. If I hit the return button, that's crazy. Look at what happened. Really, nothing happened. I want to go back, and I hit shift return. You know, it turned green. As soon as I'm a little tired from a lot of typing. But what you could try to do is copy paste. And I'll read it to you. What does it say? It says solve an equation for the variable x. Hit the shift return, and it's working. All right, it says x equals -3. Now, what I want to do is I want to scroll back in the notes. And I want to see if there's any equation that looks like that. You know, 6x. I'm scrolling back, all I'm doing. I'm trying to learn. I don't see it yet. Let's keep going backwards. Going backwards. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Ah, I think it's right here. Let me put it over here. If you recall, we introduced equations. We talked about this one over here. What does it say? 6x plus 3 times 2x minus 1. You notice they use a double equal sign over here? This is a typical indicator in Sage that we're dealing with an equation. And what do you get over there? 5 times x minus 2 plus 1 plus 5x. The little comma here, basically saying we have an equation, but we want to solve for the letter x. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to scroll over the notes, and I want to see if I can type another one in. I want to see if I've learned anything. All right, let's type number, I don't know, number 9 in. Let's do that. So I'm going to type number 9 in now. So solve, parentheses. Now, when I type the parentheses in, it actually closed it for me, which is nice. I'm going to type in 8 minus, I'm doing number 9, right? 5. You must use the multiplication symbol of a star. 4 minus 5 star x. Double equal sign for equality. 3 star parentheses 4 minus x minus 8 star x. Now, many students struggle with this. They type it in and they get an error message. What I want to do is I want to hit shift return and I want to see if they say x is 2/3. And they say x is 2/3. All right. Now I want to point out if I did make an error, let's say I didn't put the star here. Let me show you what happens. You get a really crazy looking line of code there. Right. You can read through it if you want. My suggestion is go back and look at your work though. All right. Let me put another common error in that people use 1 equal sign. Let me do that. Another error. You're going to see this when you learn to code error messages. A lot of people, when they see error message, they panic. Don't panic. Look back over your problem. See if you understand what happened. That's all we want you to do. All right. So what I would recommend you do, particularly if you think about moving forward into a STEM-related career, what I would like for you to do is certainly read about what we're asking you to do with this SAGE stuff. You could actually retype this stuff in or do a copy paste. Let me do this one over here though. I'm not gonna do a copy paste. I want to type that in. Y M B, oops, sorry about that, equals a variable, and the variables are Y M and B. Whoops, did something crazy there, didn't I? Jumpy is what happened. Shift return, and then I'll do this thing over here. Yeah, I copy pasted that one. And it solved it. But someone's going to say, I remember doing that one too. And you're right, we did do that one as well. Okay, here's the problem though. We're not asking to memorize anything. We're asking to get your feet wet. And this is a coding. And what are you doing? Coding simple lines of code. And you're getting a machine to do a problem for you. Now, of course, the argument I often get from students is if a machine can do this, why do I need to learn to do that? And you're right about that. We're not really teaching, problems that require a machine though. We're actually teaching a process. And the process we're trying to teach is algebraic skills. Right? We're really not that interested in the answers at this point. But here's the deal. Later on, if you get into a STEM-related career, the problems become so difficult, you will not be able to do this by hand. That's when a machine comes into play. But you're not going to get to that stage unless you can do basic things first. We're trying to teach a very simple basic skill in algebra. That's going to translate well, but we're still going to try to get your feet wet in using a computer algebra system. So when you move forward in a STEM-related career, you'll have some familiarity with the computer algebra system. All right, thank you.